we were talking about discrimination, na? So what is the connection between your shadow and or your unconscious and the discriminatory attitude you might have toward anybody? The personal experiences तो आपके perceptions को form करते हैं ना, और if they are not processed, then eventually they go back inside the shadow. So what's happening in your mind जब आप किसी को देखते हो बोलते हैं नहीं यार, I need to maintain a distance from this guy, I need to push this guy away. There is something which is called objective reality, all right, and we are observing that objective reality. ठीक है, but मसला ये है कि वी डोंट एक्सपीरियंस रियलिटी एज ऑब्जेक्टिव, और ये सब जो लोग हैं डिफरेंट क्लास के, डिफरेंट कैटेगरी के, दे आर पार्ट ऑफ द रियलिटी दैट वी आर एक्सपीरियंसिंग, ऑफ कोर्स. एंड बिटवीन दिस ऑब्जेक्टिव रियलिटी देयर इज समथिंग व्हिच इज कॉल्ड सब्जेक्टिव एक्सपीरियंस. हमारा जो एक्सपीरियंस होता है रियलिटी का, दैट इज नॉट ऑब्जेक्टिव, दैट इज सब्जेक्टिव. मीन्स के बहुत सारे फिल्टर्स बीच में आ रहे होते हैं, ऑलराइट, एंड दीज फिल्टर्स डिस्टॉर्ट्स जो भी एक्सपीरियंस हमारा रियलिटी के साथ, that experience is distorted, and that distortion transform that objective reality into our subjective experience. ठीक है, and of course this is our perception, and this perspective is based on, अगर हमें समझ में नहीं आ रहा कि यार why this discomfort is actually, मतलब why we are feeling uncomfortable about a particular category of these people, or why we are feeling comfortable unnecessarily about, तो इसका मतलब है कि there is something in our shadow which is influencing our experience of a particular category of people. अच्छा, अब shadow is based on our personal experiences. It can be based on experience of others around us, and others के अंदर it's our family, it's the community, and it can also be based on the experience of our ancestors. ठीक है, लास्ट टाइम में डिस्कस किया था ना कि मतलब आपकी since you have brought up in a particular environment, let's suppose आपके पेरेंट्स और आपकी जो फैमिली मेम्बर्स हैं, they are constantly telling you कि यार to stay away from a particular type of people, let's suppose, and you don't know what is the reason. हो सकता है कि आपके पेरेंट्स को भी उसका रीजन नहीं पता, alright, and the reason might be being transferred from one generation to another since a very long time. So shadow can be an intergenerational thing as well. अच्छा, अभी recently what happened कि यूएसए के अंदर, मतलब जब ये कोविड की सारी कहानी स्टार्ट हुई है, तो चाइनीज वर फेसिंग अ लॉट ऑफ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, इवन अब्यूज. बहुत सारे लोगों को तो पकड़ के मारा भी उन्होंने. तो व्हाट वाज हैपनिंग, और ये कोविड के बाद से ज़्यादा शुरू हो गया. दे वर ब्लेमिंग चाइनीज. उसका कोई एविडेंस है उनके पास कि उन्होंने डेलिबरेटली ये किया कि चाइनीज आर डेलिबरेटली, और अगर किसी ने किया भी है चाइना में डेलिबरेटली, तो इज द गाय हु इज ऑन द स्ट्रीट, इज ही रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर दैट स्प्रेड, इनिशिएशन ऑफ दैट स्प्रेड? नहीं ना. तो something is going on in their minds which is telling them कि okay, this particular category of people are dangerous, I need to push them away because they are the source of my discomfort somehow. So it's an autonomic nervous system that is actually perceiving them as a threat. ठीक है, and that is very primal self है ना आपकी, that is literally similar to that of a reptile, a part of your brain which is at the very core. या अगर आपका दिमाग है तो there is this which is called amygdala, alright, and this is connected to your nervous system. In particular, there is this thing called vagus nerve. This is primarily responsible for generating a fight and flight response. तो अगर let's suppose अगर आप सड़क पे हैं और एक कुत्ता भागना शुरू कर दे आपके पीछे, तो what do you do? But what is happening कि if some threat is just like that, a dog is there, ठीक है, and if you are running away immediately, अगर आप भागना शुरू कर दें, तो this system which is taking over your entire थिंकिंग प्रोसेस, पूरी बॉडी को के ऊपर कंट्रोल करके इट जनरेट्स अ रिस्पॉन्स. समटाइम आपने देखा होगा कि किसी की गाड़ी ठुक जाए तो फौरन से उतर के जो है ना मारना, तो इट इज द एमिगडाला, बट ये जो पूरा आपका रेप्टिलियन ब्रेन है, दैट इज एक्चुअली रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर दैट रिएक्शन. सो बाद में फिर आपको ख्याल आता है नहीं यार, ये आपने जो है वो यू रिएक्टेड इन अ मच मोर देन व्हाट वाज नेसेसरी. तो समथिंग इज गिविंग योर दिस पार्ट ऑफ योर सिस्टम कि this particular individual which belongs to a particular category people is some kind of a threat to you. Not life threatening, but at least it is going to make you feel uncomfortable. और वो जो programming है ना कि there is some kind of a belief कि if this particular type of a person is in front of me, then I should generate a fight and flight response. तो वो that programming is there somewhere in the unconscious. So that is responsible for generating that discriminatory behavior toward or against a particular class of people. Again, there is another thing here कि we have, इसके ऊपर एक और चीज़ है, that is called the limbic system. And limbic system naturally generates a tribal instinct. Means कि again आपका जो thinking process है, जो consciously आप चीज़ें सोच रहे होते हो, that is actually happening in the upper part of the brain. So all of these parts of your brains are below that brain which actually thinks consciously. So they are literally part of the unconscious part of your system. So tribal instinct is again another thing which is there in the limbic system, and which say, okay, fine, these people belong to my tribe and these people do not belong to my tribe. So I need to be close to the people who belong to my tribe. I need to push those people away or be careful with those people who do not belong to my tribe. So there is this thing which is called tribal instinct as well. And this instinct becomes much more active again if your nervous system is dysregulated. The dysregulated nervous system क्या होता है? You're constantly in a state of fight and flight. You are stuck particularly in these emotions that make you feel scared. You're scared all the time despite the fact there is no observable threat in your radius. ठीक है? और उसके अंदर I told you guys 2-3 classes पहले कि there are 2 parts of your nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic. और basically आपका ये वाला जो part है nervous system का that gets stuck. ठीक है? आप यहाँ फंस जाते हो and you are not able to activate the parasympathetic part. और ये वाला जो part है that is responsible to generate, मतलब this is part of this whole system. ये जो आपका reptilian brain है which generates this fight and flight response. मतलब वो ये ज़्यादा active हो जाती है. It is there by default all the time, but it becomes even more dominating to your overall behavior. इसका मतलब ये है कि your unconscious mind thinks or believes that there is some kind of a threat around, but in reality there is no threat. So it keeps you stuck in this fight and flight mode, which keeps your tribal instinct activated, which keeps you pushing away those people who are unfamiliar, or you have some kind of a perception that yaar, ye category of people are not worthy of my time or presence or whatever.